Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Oh, the heck with the speech. I don't need to do a speech. Thank you guys so much. Hello, Arizona. Unbelievable. Look at this crowd. It's amazing. This is all the way up to the rafters, by the way. All the way up. Look at that up there. Hey, everybody. Oh man, President Trump, we're going to blow his mind today. This is amazing. Thank you. Wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm speechless. I'm speechless for the first time in my life. I'm speechless. The fake news media probably likes the thought of me being speechless. But I'm about to get wound up. Is that okay? We don't need to bus people in. We don't need free concerts. We're here because we love America. Oh, I think I want to speak to my old friends in the fake news because, you know what's funny? They've been trying to say specifically that in Arizona, the MAGA movement is dying. Do me a favor, let's let those guys back there in the fake news know that MAGA is alive and well in Arizona. Let them hear it. Oh, it's funny. It's actually pretty funny. It's actually pretty funny because they're saying that MAGA is dying, but you know what's dying right before our eyes? The fake news is dying and the propaganda. They're made-up narratives combined with their bogus polls in their attempt to take the oxygen out of this movement. There is no suppressing MAGA. You can't suppress us. So we're not going to let them take this amazing energy in this arena out. We've got to turn them off. Are you okay with that? Turn them off. Turn the TV off. Get rid of your subscriptions if you're still getting the newspaper, because it's not worth it. We need this energy for the next 2.5 months, and we can't let any of it die down. So, by the way, thank you for the beautiful happy birthday song. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. It was 55 years ago. Thank you. Oh, we got the rowdy ones over here. Oh, man. Okay, 55 years ago, in the summer of '69, my mom, Sheila, delivered her 9th and final baby, yours truly. I wish that my mom and my dad were alive right now to see this. I really do. My mom was a nurse. My dad was a very successful head football coach. And I will tell you this, speaking of football coaches, we've heard a lot about them lately. Coach Kari Lake supplied the young men that he was coaching with helmets and shoulder pads. Unlike this assistant coach, Tim Walls, who supplied his young men with tampons and maxi pads. What the hell? What the hell? That is the most absurd and twisted thing I've ever heard. I do know though, if my parents were alive today, they would be right up here in the front row, right by my daughter. And they would be cheering me on with a MAGA hat and a Kari Lake for U.S. Senate t-shirt to help celebrate my birthday. I really know that. So today I am officially, once again, 29 years old. But I somehow have 55 years of experience under my belt. No, but really, in all seriousness, there's no place I would rather be than right here with all of you on this day, and with the greatest president in the history of this country, Donald J. Trump. I'm worried we're going to wear out our energy. We got to save some of this because the man you're here to see is coming up next. So I have to tell you a story, okay? This is actually the second birthday that I have spent with President Trump. On this day 3 years ago, I spent my 52nd birthday in New York City. Now, of course, I'd met President Trump before. In my previous life, when I was working in the news, I had the privilege of interviewing President Trump when I was one of the last remaining fair and honest journalists. But this time, a few years ago, I got to connect with him for the first time in my new life in politics, and it was an experience I'll never forget. I was at Trump Tower. I took that famous golden escalator up. I hopped onto a golden elevator and shot up to the 26th floor of the beautiful Trump Tower in Manhattan. And as I was looking out on that skyline, much of which, contrary to a well-known politician who said, "You didn't build that," Donald Trump had indeed built that, a big part of the skyline of New York. And I thought to myself, so is this what Frank Sinatra sang about in New York, New York? This was Trump Tower, this was New York City. If we could make it there, you can make it anywhere. Jeff and I were there. We were led into his office, and behind a large, beautiful desk sat a larger-than-life Donald J. Trump. He welcomed us. And immediately we launched into a recap, and he remembered a recap of a Turning Point event that we both attended about a month earlier. And he talked about the huge, loud, incredible, warm applause that I had received when he called out my name from you, the people of Arizona. And he said to me, I'll never forget it. He said, "Kari, that wasn't a poll that you hire a pollster to do. That was a real poll. That was the people telling me who they support." Right? And then he began asking a few questions about how the campaign was going, polling, about policy. And I'll be honest, I was able to answer all of them with no problem, except one. A very important question that took Jeff and me completely off guard. And my husband, I don't know where he is. Are you out here, Jeff, somewhere? Come here, hon. Say hi to Jeff, please. Do you remember what the president asked us?
He asked us how long we'd been married.
That's what stumped us. Jeff forgot. And to Jeff's benefit, I also forgot. Now, we turned to each other and we started counting and doing the math, and we came up with the figure 23 years. So we'll never get that wrong again, will we? I love you. I love this man. Thanks, hon. 3 weeks ago, Jeff and I celebrated our 26th anniversary. It feels like the first year, doesn't it? So let me get through this story. So what was supposed to be a 15-minute meeting had turned into an hour-long conversation with Donald Trump. At the end of it all, the president rose, he shook our hands, he told me he would support me and endorse me. It was the greatest birthday gift I'd ever received. Really great. So, long story long, I spent my 52nd birthday in New York City with the greatest president. I'm spending my 55th birthday here in Glendale with all of you and the greatest president. And Arizona, I look forward to spending my 56th birthday in Washington, D.C. with the greatest president representing you, the greatest people in the entire country. Decades ago, like many of you, on my 18th birthday, I registered as a Republican, inspired by a man named President Ronald Reagan, whose very powerful words still guide us. I think one of his most famous speeches, he said, "You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness." That speech was called A Time for Choosing. And that's exactly where we stand at this moment. We're at a crossroads and we have a choice right now. We either save this country and our best days are ahead of us, or we plunge into 1,000 years of darkness. Guys, we're gonna save this country. Ronald Reagan spoke those words on behalf, did you know this? He spoke those words on behalf of Arizona's favorite son, Senator Barry Goldwater, a man whose Senate seat I would be honored to fill. I really would. The media, you know, back then the media called him extreme. The media called Reagan extreme. They called Trump extreme. They call me extreme. And they call each and every one of you extreme. Yep. Because we are on to their corrupt system. Can you imagine? Can you imagine calling a middle-aged mom like me a far-right extremist? She said, "We love it." You know what? So far, I have been right about everything. And the only extreme thing about us and me is that I'm extremely worried about my children's future. I am. I'm extremely worried about what my opponent, Ruben Gallego, will do to the state that we love. I'm running against the most radical man to ever run for office in Arizona history. Have you seen Ruben's commercials? Honestly, they should come with a laugh track because they are an absolute joke. They really are. For a decade in Congress, this man was a card-carrying member of the Progressive Caucus, a man actually to the left of Bernie Sanders and to the left of the Squad. And now he's bombarding our airwaves with ads meant to make him look like a cross between Mr. Rogers and G.I. Joe. When in reality, he's just Nancy Pelosi with a scruffy beard. Now, guys, if you don't mind it, I'm about to lay out some hard truths about my opponent, Ruben Gallego. And I'm not telling you this to be mean, I'm really not. I'm telling you this because the people have got to know before they vote who this guy is. His ads leave out a whole lot of despicable treatment of women. His ads don't tell you that about the time that he harassed and threatened a 20-year-old female intern, and when she complained about it, she was fired. His ads don't tell you about the fact that his fellow Democrats down at the state legislature gave him the nickname the Troll because of how creepy and degrading he was with women. And his ads don't tell you about the time he told a Latina woman that because she was a Republican, she wasn't a real Latina. Can I hear it for our incredible conservative Latina women? We got a house full, including my daughter right down there. His ads don't tell you, frankly, about the most unforgivable act against a woman. When he walked out on his pregnant wife, when she was 9 months pregnant, days before she delivered their firstborn child, he served her papers and he ran off to sleep with a DC lobbyist. That's despicable. I can promise you, if Ruben Gallego will abandon his family to jump in bed with a lobbyist, he will abandon Arizona in favor of DC lobbyists every single vote. If his treatment of women isn't enough to keep him out of the US Senate, then his voting record ought to be. I want to talk about his votes. He supports open borders. He told donors, this is actually shocking, he told donors when it comes to the border, it's not his expertise. He called the border wall, which is keeping us safe in some areas, dumb and stupid. And he voted against the SAVE Act. That means he wants millions of illegals to vote in this upcoming November election. Bad idea, Ruben. He voted for sanctuary cities. He supports amnesty. He's weak on law and order. I don't even think he likes our police officers. He actually called them the bad guys. He did. The direct quote, in case the media wants to, fact check me, he said the bad guys are the ones behind the police line. How dare you, Ruben? How dare you? He marched and defund the police rallies, and then he threatened ICE agents. He's weak on the economy. He voted for legislation that resulted in this 40-year high inflation. That's why we can't afford anything. And when it came to the very short period of time that he worked in the private sector, he was a director for a bank that built immigrant families out of their life savings. At another company he worked for, under federal investigation during Ruben's time for Medicare fraud. Guys, I'm telling you all this because the fake news media won't cover him. Let me tell you, if I had one of those digs against me, they would be all up, all over it, and they won't cover him. If Ruben Gallego is willing to defraud Medicare, he's willing to cut Medicare. He ripped off our seniors before, he will do it again. I want you to know when it comes to Medicare and Social Security, our seniors paid into it, and they lived up to their end of the deal. Uncle Sam needs to live up to his end of the deal. Let me be perfectly clear, when I'm in the US Senate, any politician that tries to lay a finger on your Medicare or your Social Security will have to go through me. And worse yet, they're gonna have to go through President Trump, and that guy's bulletproof. Arizona, we've got to reject the dead-end Biden-Harris agenda that Ruben Gallego voted for 100% of the time. We can't take 4 more years of this. But the good news is we don't have to take 4 more years of it. The problems we face are massive, but the solutions are so simple. America First policies. Strong economy, safe border, safe streets, energy dominance, record low inflation, mortgage rates, unemployment. When we win, we're going to bring back that hot job market that President Trump introduced. Frankly, the only people I want to see out of a job are the human smugglers, the drug smugglers, the child traffickers, the cartels, and I'd like to see the propagandists in the media on the unemployment line. Arizona, we deserve clean, safe, and secure neighborhoods. We deserve to be prosperous again, and our children deserve a shot at the American dream. And I'm going to be a little bit selfish right now. I'm not a career politician. I'm a mother of 2 beautiful children. My son is 19. Let's hear it for our boys. Our strong, young men, we need you guys. I'm worried about my son and daughter's future, and I'm worried about your future as well. I'm a fed-up mama bear who recognizes that President Trump is the only person who can lead us out of this nightmare and restore the American dream. And that's why we elected him in 2016 and in 2020. Are you ready to elect him again in 2024? Arizona, vote Trump for president and Lake for U.S. Senate. We know President Trump stands for American greatness. I will stand for Arizona greatness. So here's my promise to you, starting on day 1. I will work with President Trump to secure the border and finish the wall. That's right. That's right. From the Gulf Coast all the way to the Pacific Ocean. 16 million people have poured across our border during the Biden invasion. In order to save our homeland, we got to send them back to their homeland. We will begin the largest repatriation operation this world has ever seen. We will define the drug cartels. We will define the drug cartels as foreign terrorists, and we will use every ounce of energy our law enforcement and military has to put them out of business for good. That's how we end human smuggling. That's how we end child sex trafficking. And that is how we end the scourge of fentanyl. The #1 cause of death right now for our young people is fentanyl poisoning. Too many sons and daughters and sisters and brothers and loved ones are being wiped out by these cheap counterfeit poisonous pills. 290,000 young people are gone under border czar Kamala Harris and Ruben Gallego. Gone. Under their reign of incompetence, we've lost a generation of young Americans. This is our future. This generation is our future, and we want it to be strong. So my message to young voters, and they're all over this place, I will be your biggest advocate in Washington, D.C. I will do everything I can to help you guys start a family, own a home, and live the American dream. I have one favor to ask you, though. I want you guys, when you think of that American dream, to dream big, really, really big, okay? Because the future is going to be bright. The future coming your way is going to be very, very bright. Now, a couple more promises. Before I vote on any legislation, first of all, I plan to read it, okay? And then I'm going to ask myself a few questions. Will this make Arizona safer, stronger, more affordable? Will it make our country more secure and prosperous? And is it constitutional? And if the answer is yes, 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 and yes, then I'm going to vote yes for it. It's pretty simple. I will support legislation that calls for the death penalty for any criminal who kills a police officer in the line of duty. And my message to law enforcement, any of you in this crowd, let me hear from you if you're in this crowd and you're law enforcement. And their families, any family of law enforcement here? I've got your back because you always have our back. I've got your back. And that's why the law enforcement unions around this state have endorsed me. Got a message to moms and dads. This one's really near to my heart. I will crack down on any school pushing gender insanity on our precious children. We're done. We're done. We're done. God did not put our kids in the wrong body. The people pushing this sickness are in the wrong job. I will support education that focuses on teaching the fundamentals along with skills training so our kids are ready for the jobs right out of high school. And I will help save girls' sports and save women's athletic scholarships. Girl power. Democrats always say, trust the science. Well, I do, and the science shows there's only two genders. Okay, finally, we're going to address the water issue in Arizona and the American Southwest. We're going to identify new sources of water and explore desalination options, including piping fresh water into the West. And we're going to make California do more to collect water runoff and snowmelt. Arizona's tired of being punished for California's recklessness. We need a return to common sense America First policies. We're going to take our first step toward that when we vote in Arizona. Ballots hit mailboxes October 9th. Yes, we have voting season here. And Election Day is November 5th. And we all have a part in saving America. Vote early if you want. Sign up to be a poll worker and a poll observer. Go to tpaction.com/100 and sign up to be a ballot chaser. Can you do that, guys? And if you know somebody who lives outside of Arizona who wants to come and help our state, Turning Point Action will pay for their hotel for the month of October so they can come in and chase ballots. Invite your friends in. We all have got to get involved. No one is too young, no one is too old. We welcome, and Charlie said it. By the way, is Charlie Kirk great? He's amazing. Charlie said it. We welcome all Republicans, independents, and disaffected Democrats to this movement. It's called America First. We're not just Republicans first, we welcome everybody. This is about bringing America together. Our founding father, Benjamin Franklin, was 81 years old when he said, "We have a republic if you can keep it." We are in the if you can keep it part. And at 43 years old, John F. Kennedy famously said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country." We got to step it up and save our country right now. And one of the greatest leaders in humankind who's about to take the stage always says, let's make America great again. We will do it. Arizona, vote Donald J. Trump for president. Vote Kari Lake for U.S. Senate. And vote Republican up and down that ballot. And when you do, we will make Arizona great again. We will make America great again. I love you all. God bless you. God bless President Trump. And God bless State 48.